Well, you're going to be a Mr.
Joining us today also again, you know, the producer, Mr. Will Smith.
What's going on, Jackson?
Okay.
But yeah, welcome back to this fine Wednesday on this hot Wednesday. I'll be glad when I can stop saying it's a hot day out.
Man, that's that's for sure.
They say this is the coolest July you probably won't have the rest of your life.
Well,
What?
data center said, boy, gonna be them hot data center summers.
Yep. They say this
I
is
mean,
cool.
them data center summers, man. Them data center summers are something different. And I'm not saying I know that. I just know it's not what we go through now.
It's the new normal.
You know, and I think when we were growing up, they were talking about climate control. Not you, young man. But when we were growing up, that's what the producer now. But when we were growing up, it was about smoke in the air. You remember?
What they call it? Ozone layer.
The ozone layer. You had green parties.
Like global warming or something like that?
Yeah, global warming was the overreaching, absolutely. You know about that, absolutely. Yeah, global warming was the overreaching point they got to. But I don't even think they were using that terminology when we were 15, 16. I think they were still talking about throw away plastic bags, don't pollute the earth type push.
Greenhouse gas.
Yeah, greenhouse gas and emissions. The cars were changing the standards for the cars. And to think we've got from a time like that where we had that type of overreach and protection. It was, really, when you look back at it, the fact that our politicians were even arguing about that, we wish we could have those times back.
Right.
Because now they're arguing about how many data centers go where. And they expect us to jump in on that argument and do our part, right? Okay, and that's the old trick they do with you. First they talk about putting it in your backyard. And then they tell you, okay, we'll only put it a few houses away.
Right, we'll put it in your neighbor's yard.
That's that stretch goal. Yeah, they give you that stretch goal first. That goal they don't expect to achieve. So they can have a goal to back down to that's right what they want.
Right.
That's exactly what they want. And that's what's happening with these data centers just as well as with everything else.
Yeah, that just sounded like that meeting that they had the other day.
Which one?
The one that the city council had where they were talking about where they could put the data center.
Yes. Yeah. What you're seeing is that goalpost moving. Right. Absolutely. You're talking about the most recent city council meeting where and see, we've got to talk about this as a community. And I know a lot of people, and I said I was going to.
It was pretty slick, though. I'm not giving that. No, it was pretty slick.
It was, and I promise, followers, you'll understand. Sometimes we just go live, and we just expect people to be like, "Yeah, we're on." And so, forgive us for that. Sometimes I want to make you aware of that. But we've got to talk about how slick that was.
Yeah.
We're talking about Kenneth. We're going to have to use full names now, so you all can do your own investigation fully. Kenneth Stokes, a.k.a. you might hear him more as Kenny No-Show Stokes, and that nickname is based on the the large number of absences that he has during city council meetings. And specifically in this case is the fact that this councilman, who's paid every year, literally did not show up to one substantial meeting about data centers, where the community showed up and showed their resistance and discussed. The only one he showed up to was to go ahead and push Vernon Hartley for council president. The two amigos. The three amigos, because Foote is the third. You got the three amigos. You have Ashby Foote, you have Kenneth Stokes, and you have Vernon Hartley. Tarek Abdul-Twab saying that because I went to Cedars over there, right over there behind, help me understand, to explain, Meadowbrook and where the private schools are. Meadowbrook, you know what I'm talking about. We were going to meet up there and go there. You had a different meeting that day. Yeah, where prep is. So the Cedars, very, 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 higher end part of Jackson, right? And I listened to Vernon Hartley get in front of those business owners / homeowners in that area and tell them that the only council people that they should trust were himself, Vernon Hartley, Ashby Foote, and Kenny Stokes. And so this isn't me guessing that these are the three amigos. This is us watching plan after plan unfold where these three work together to bolster each other. So Kenny Stokes shows back up. These aren't sicknesses, America, because I know we have a lot more people listening than just Jackson now. Thank you all. But he's not out sick because an older man can be sick. He's not giving any explanations. He just doesn't show up. Am I right or wrong, guys? Let's talk about his attendance over the last 3-4 years.
He doesn't feel like he needs to explain why he doesn't show up.
That's right. Now, when he does show up, what is he doing? He's calling the community members dope fiends and dope users. Everybody, you all. He's like Oprah with the car, with the accusations of being a dope dealer or dope user. You get a dope user. You get a dope user. Anybody that says anything he doesn't like, he calls them a dope user. I'm sure I'm a dope user now. I'm sure that's how it goes down with him. But let's talk about his attendance there. I mean,
he's not been there more than he's been there.
That's fair.
That's all I can say.
That's fair. He's not been there more than he's been there. It's a very fair statement on Kenneth Stokes. There was another gentleman that went to school he went to. I think it was Sheik the Judge. They both went to Thurgood Marshall University. What's the judge's name? Yemi, isn't it? Yemi or Sheik? It's one of the two, yeah, that go to Thurgood Marshall. And I just point that out. A lot of people say, Stokes he doesn't know what he's doing or he's foolish, or I don't like that.
I mean, as far as I know, you and King go to like his church, same church.
I think they went to the same school.
Yeah, I think they went. I think Yemi went to because he's campaigning now, so I got to hear a little bit more about him. And I believe he went to Thurgood Marshall as well. In his campaign time, so that's a whole other conversation. But no, sticking to what you're saying, yeah, I think it's. He said, I think it's fair to say he's been there more absent recently than he's been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's and to the young man's point, I don't think he feels the need to explain to his ward or to the community or to the city, out of whose tax coffers he's getting his payments from. I don't think he feels the need to explain to us why he's not showing up. But nevertheless, to the meeting that Abdul was talking about, he did show up and start talking about other places we could stick this data center.
It was a 5-2 vote. Tony Clay and Brazil voted against it. It was about doing construction.
So
Yeah, we right back at it, Jackson.
before the moratorium can even start,
Yeah, we right back at it.
they plotting where else they can put it.
We right back at it. See if you can find that article from when the moratorium went into effect so we can see 30 days from there. We're right back at it, Jackson. Mississippi, we're right back at it. Now we've moved the barometer from what we're asking for to you determining what you want. And this is why we say NDAs need to be discovered. We've got to file it. The news is not going to file it. We've got to file. We need to find out who on our city council signed a non-disclosure agreement. Because at this point, you're letting us know we're going to have data centers. And this is the problem I have, is that none of the discussion is genuine or honest at this point. You can't trust when Gabriel Prado tells us, I'm not going to tell you peekaboo, we're going to play peekaboo with my data center, I'm not going to tell you where I put it, and you're a friend of our mayor's? You're on his transition team? You've got $1.5 million in tax incentives for Prado Law from the city council? And you're going to tell us I'm playing peekaboo?
Where does he live?
That's a great question. Clearly he's not in Jackson.
No.
It clearly not. Ever since Topgolf got diverted to Ridgeland, I knew it was Jackson, and that was before Horn even came into office. But you're playing peekaboo with your data center, and we're supposed to believe that if we find a safe place, Opie, where we can put it, that's where you're going to... No. You haven't done anything we've asked you to do. The only reason you've acquiesced to any pressure is because the pressure existed. You, the people, we, the community. It's the only reason. You've got to remember that, and we're not going to go deep. You've got to really remember, and we're going to keep reminding you how this happened. Right? Brian Grizzell said, let's put a moratorium on this. Let's slow down, saw what was happening, waved a flag at the people. Thank you for that, Brian. I know some other times you turn a different direction, but thank you for that. Brian said, we need a moratorium on the table. They move it fast behind closed doors here. Mm-hmm. So, boom, it was up on the table and everything looked fine. Someone got to LaShia Brown Thomas. It wasn't the people. Now, we can say this because we've gone through her ward and asked people, do you want a data center under the conditions? Meaning you don't know anything, no restrictions, just do you want a data center and the amount that are coming here under the condition that SB 2001 laid out. Meaning this is what you will know, this is the Public Service Commission protection you will have, and this is what you won't have. And everybody in that ward said no that we talked to. Obviously, it wasn't every single person, but it was a lot of people. Now, one ward is overwhelmingly, or even more than 1 or 2 people have said, well, we're interested in seeing what the development looks like. And that's been the most closest to yes.
I want to know how much they paid the consulting firm to teach them how to recruit data centers. You remember that article came out a couple weeks ago?
No, it's a lot.
I just
It's gotta
want to
be
know
a
how
lot.
much.
Yeah, that's a good thing to look. Yeah, there's just consulting firms like the one that Vernon Hartley brought on. Apparently, I mean, that came on his show seemed to be a consulting firm. I know that guy Trey Hairston that we mentioned works for. Yeah, no. They certainly don't consult for free. So,
on getting some money on the back end.
Are you referencing how much is the city paying?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's a different question. Well, the closest way we can get that is to look at. I mean, I know that the brother. I said Hairston. I think I'm playing too much Madden sometimes with my sons. What's the young man's name? Trey Hairston, if I'm saying that correct, with Butler Snow LP. We did a recent people behind the projects to discuss him, and this just goes right to what you're saying. He presented, not only did he work with Prado Lofts and help them get that $1.5 million that they got, but he presented data centers, economic development, and the new infrastructure of civilization, calling data centers the invisible heartbeat of the modern economy and offering communities a blueprint for attracting them. So I think this is just the gentleman that you're asking that type of question. And I can assure you Butler and Snow pay well. Let me just start there. But he also, let me go further to connect you when I bring the gentleman up for a reason. You asked about the functions the city has been putting on, right, to convince us to go into data centers. As Jackson residents push back against the proposed data center, I forget when the Jackson State University meeting they had was, but the city of Jackson selected Trey Hairston and Charity Karanga to facilitate the public forum at Jackson State University. So I think that at least we have a good vision on, with Butler Snow being in the forefront, what type of finances that would take to get them to be those, to pull in and to fight for you. And this brother here, Trey, actually, and you can always be doing your job when you recognize your job.
He works for free.
We know he doesn't. No. The path he took. I mean, he graduated from Tougaloo, got his MBA from Belhaven over there with Prado, and he earned his bachelor's and an MBA from Belhaven. He began his career along with Gabriel Prado at Mississippi Development Authority, MDA, helping. And when you talk about recruit, this is the key word why this brother popped up in my head. When you say recruit, he began his career at MDA helping recruit businesses and industry to Mississippi. Gabriel Prado was there too, but he was working in international trade and special projects before he founded Praycon Gold. Yes, Gabriel.
Trade.
I should slow that down and not assume this information. Yes, I apologize. Yes, at the time he was at MDA, and some of you know him. You can ask him about Gabriel Prado. The people we're trying to get more information about, when you've got people in your community that know these people this well, then you can ask them directly. You don't have to just wonder anymore. But Gabriel Prado was there along with Trey at MDA, and Gabriel worked in international trade and special projects before eventually founding Praycon Global. All of this is on our post.
What year did he found that? You know?
I can pull it because it was at the same. I can tell you this was at the same time. Yeah, it was at, and I can tell you there was a sequence. Not only is it moving a bunch of money around, but the sequences between Trey Hairston, Butler and Snow, and Gabriel Prado are lock in hand, as if you're working together. Not together necessarily, but together in theory, or at least with the same independent goal. Where the moment that Prado starts going into data centers, Hairston starts pushing data centers, and I think pushing it is light when you say that it's the data centers are the invisible heartbeat of the modern economy. I think that's pushing it, right? When you say that when you call data centers the economic development and the new infrastructure of civilization, right? I think that's fair. I think that's fair to say that. I don't want to put anything on anyone's shoulders. As a young brother, I don't want to put anything on anyone's shoulders that's not there. But I'm also a young brother, and I put things on my shoulders that are there. I take it. We all take it. So I think that's fair enough to say he's behind data centers now, because his specialty is offering communities a blueprint for attracting data centers and making them recognize that invisible heartbeat of the modern economy part. You'd have to assume that when John Horn called him and our city council called him. Now this is where everything comes together. Now this doesn't matter if that's just what he does, but who? John called him and said, "Hey Trey, for whatever you do," now he's friendly, he works closely with Gabriel Prado. This is how you protect your future. Not by accusing folks of stuff, not by getting on a show and talking about folks' alcohol habits or drug habits or relationships. You keep yourself safe by talking about what's being done and who's playing what role. And that's how you start to understand the framework of what's happening. It may not be illegal, but it sure may be stopping you from making progress, Jackson. Mississippi, Delta, it sure may be holding you back. Not understanding that Gabriel Prado and Trey Hairston work this closely together. So if you want to know why Gabriel Prado is going this way or where he's going, maybe just at church, if you see the brother, ask him, "Hey, what's going on with Prado? Why is he buying up so much stuff? Why do these Don Gabriel stores charge double or triple what everyone else is charging in the neighborhood? It smells like gentrification." Say it ain't so, Trey. This is what it gives you the ability to say, instead of jumping on a page and saying, "Let Trey get his money." And that wasn't even him saying that. That's someone I assume is his friend that just made it worse. Let Trey get his money. I don't think that, let that brother say that. He may not have known in his younger age. He may not be informed. So, I already see people jumping on. He know. But if he does, then he got to hold that. He got to hold it, all right? And we just always give that benefit of the doubt. So I think as we talk about this, that's a great point. What is the incentive? And John Horn and the city council knows, so does Trey Hairston. So if you're friends with him, ask him, "Hey man, what's that pay look like, man? I know that John called you over to Jackson State to tell the people to calm down and accept this data center smoothly. What does that look like?" This is what you ain't gonna keep punching on these children. And you quick to talk about the young ones, rightfully so. The violence is ridiculous. We got to do something about it, and we work to bring platforms of intervention. If you're not going to intervene on the violence, don't talk about it. Don't talk about what you're going to do to them after it's done, because that's not caring about our community. Talk to me about violence interrupters that are going to make our community safer for everyone, right? Folks that are dealing with trauma and after the effects of these things, how we help them make people whole. Talk about that, right? But we've got to, everybody, if these young people can get put on the front of the news, and we can say before they've even been deemed guilty, right? Right before they've even had a trial, their face goes smack dab. And it seems like our babies don't even get the adult juvenile thing. It seems like they just go up on it. They may not put their picture, but they'll find some way to show the video or something so we can see their young face. So if we do that, then if Trey Hairston is working closely with Gabriel Prado, and he's a smart young, and if that brilliancy is put, then there goes your brain drain. Stop running around talking about the brain drains happening in Mississippi. Brain draining happening in Mississippi? You just need to give your opportunities for people to succeed outside of being involved in the Mississippi Shuffle. And that's certainly what Mr. Hairston is involved with, unknowingly or not. Because Gabriel Prado, through the MDA, through the state, that's your state association, that Belhaven Association, I'm talking about you have these three amigos popping out of everywhere. So you got Daniel Prado, who owns the Don Gabriel gas station, I'm sorry. You got Gabriel, all coming out of Belhaven. You got Gabriel Prado, who owns Prado Lofts and who has a peekaboo data center. He doesn't want to tell us where he's trying to put it at. And now you have Trey Hairston, who went to Belhaven with them and who was at MDA with Gabriel, and he in the city trying to convince us, man, listen, man, let me take some of this Novocaine. That's what's happening. Whether the brother understands it or not, that's up to him to grasp that. Just like you expect a 16-year-old not to shoot while they're shooting back at him. We want to spread some of this accountability peanut butter across the whole piece of bread. Y'all gonna stop just spreading it around the crust. Who raised them? I mean, where's their mother at? She just wants to shake her tail feather. Pastor, jump into this one. Where the religious leadership at, Imam? Jump into this one. How is that not a moral problem if you're from the community and pushing something, and you don't have to demean him, but you got to make that same visit you make when that young man out there shooting at him and hey, sister, man, we don't want you coming to the church anymore because your daughter's out here wilding. I bet you won't make that stop by Trey's house. Tell his parents they can't come to church because they sent out there selling data centers that could kill us. This is what it looks like. Accountability isn't easy. It isn't comfortable. But for the love of God, lack of accountability leaves the rest of us very uncomfortable. Very uncomfortable. So we've got to start holding folks accountable. So merge that in. These are all your actors in the community. Start holding those accountable that are gatekeeping your babies from making it to progress before you keep talking about the white supremacist that's been doing what he's doing for 400 plus years. We figured, your ancestors figured that one out. We'll talk about it later. Come by for dinner. We figured out how to work through that one. Through strikes and through a lot of other things. We got a huge bag that we can work through white supremacy oppression through, right? But those in our community that are being given the gatekeeping key are locking the rest of us out. That's what's clear. And as elections couldn't come at a better time. Because the vote is beautiful when the apathy leaves, and the apathy leaves when we realize well, the vote is not bad. I actually love the vote because my ancestors died for it. It's the people that keep consistently getting voted in through this deceit and webs of blindfolds that we've uncovered for over a year and a half here at Make It Make Sense, this heartburn that's been plaguing us. That's why the vote doesn't work. Is it voting apathy that's going to make Addison Place residents not vote next year? What you going to say when Addison Place residents don't want to vote? Their water's been off 3 weeks now. We already talked about Stratford Terrace. Now Addison's been off. We had a whole housing task force created. John Horn said, I'm not going to let this happen again. I'm going to protect you from those landlords. Blossom, I can't do nothing for you.
I just said they're going to vote for who came to help them. They're looking like they ain't going to vote for nobody right now.
And you got to call, yes, so you got a housing committee. You want to talk, remember yesterday we talked about that song they used to do when we were young? To teach us the legislature, the branches and things of that nature. Mm-hmm. This is the legislature, this is the... So when a young person wonders, black places and high faces, right? That conversation is very frequent within our younger community, especially 30 and under, right? So black places and high faces, let's talk about it practically. So it's housing. So what are your black places and high faces with housing in the Senate here in Mississippi? You have Rod Hickman, who's the chair. We don't have a black face in a mid place with the housing committee for the Senate. We've got but I'm not saying anything wrong about them. I'm showing you the power we have to work from. We have a black face in a high place when it comes to the housing committee. So you got Rod Hickman that's the chairman.
Sarita.
Yeah, you got Sarita Simmons that's a member. And you got Johnny Dupree that's a veteran member. Knows how these waters roll. So Addison Place, you've got the black faces in high places. So Stratford Terrace, you blossom, you've got the black faces in high places. This is how we make the vote work for us. Now, Chairman Hickman, Mr. Dupree, Ms. Simmons, what type of attention are you all going to bring to what's happening? And are you all going to force these folks to use the law that was created, HB 1404, that gives the state of Mississippi in all of its arms, teeth, to fight landlords that don't pay you? This bill was specifically created off of Blossom Apartments in Jackson. Not saying more apartments were taken into contest, but that's what fueled this bill. So now John Horn, the Senate, all of them, Sarita, you all have the weapon. You have to refer it for prosecution, but what have we heard?
How would that make any sense? Oh, I'm sorry, but
Take the time with it. It's a hot Wednesday.
when it's a corporation who owns an apartment complex, what are you talking about? There's no teeth to that. This is for local slumlords, basically to lock up Jackson.
Yes.
Let's be real about this. A lot of these companies are based out of New York and California.
These companies are based, so let's talk about it exactly. So the companies we're talking about that own Stratford Terrace is New York. This company is New Jersey. Right? But so if you can prove though, in this SB 1404, they have not even lifted a finger on it. If you can prove that they held back gas, but now listen to what I'm saying. This place we're talking about, what are we talking about right now? The apartment, not I keep thinking Stratford. The one Addison Place.
Oh, Addison Place.
Addison Place was $100,000 in arrears, I think in 2024. Jackson, Mayor Horn created a housing task team and said, we're going to attack it, and I'm going to do everything in my power to make sure that they don't keep doing this to the people.
He made a house. He passed something. What was that? I forgot.
He fought for it and they passed it. What they passed was just that. It was I'm trying to get to it here, but it was HB 1404. Governor Tate, to our producer's point, Governor Tate didn't mean to really protect us that much. The point that we're making is that our leadership is not even using what's in front of them to try to slow this down. But what you're talking about, young man, yes, it was SB 1404. They got it passed, and Horn is the one that pushed for this legislation, is what you have to understand. Horn is the one that actually said, I'm going to push for legislation so that we can hold them accountable, right? Absent landlords, he pointed out, unpaid apartment water bills and displaced tenants. Horn himself said, I'm going to the legislation and I want criminal penalties for this stuff. This man just talking to y'all now. This is like a spouse trying to get the other spouse out of their underwear. This is what this is like. I'm tired. Come on now. I mean, listen. You be whoever you want to be. It's 2026. You be whoever you want to be. But this is what this is like. Mayor Horn I'm talking about. This is like a spouse trying to talk the nicest way I could say it. So he said, this was back when this came out a year ago. He said, when he created Blossom Apartment, it's been about a year, yeah. He said, I'm going to push legislation, and then he got it. He like the person that says, hold me back. I don't want to fight. And as soon as you let him go, he says, I'm calling the police.
It's two.
So as soon as they gave him anything, and criminal penalties under qualifying circumstances when money received for utility services isn't remitted to you, the whole of Jackson, Mississippi is run by corporation slumlords. For all sakes and purposes, and correct me if I'm wrong, you individual landlords hold your hand.
A lot of them out of Madison County.
Yeah! A lot of them out of Madison Park companies, because Chip Triplett gave John Horn campaign donation. Yep. You got the wrong show, bro. We go way back with that. When you talk about slumlords giving mayors campaign donations, I consider a lot of park companies property slums. I don't care. Go look at it. Tell me it's not a slum. Chip Triplett gave John Horn money. John Horn sat on the chair of, just like Rod, on the chair of the HUD Housing Committee. You gonna lock them up? Now it's quiet though. Now John's not saying nothing about his friends across the aisle.
I wanted that Deborah Holzman give Rod Hickman money, because I think he was like, when he did his press conference, Rod Hickman, Deborah Holzman was standing there right there with him.
It sure was.
Yeah.
They're very close, I think.
Yeah.
Let me just learn stuff. I had a conversation with someone from a political aspect about Delvin Holzman giving money out, being very, 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 very close to somebody. I think it was Stokes. I think it was Kenneth Stokes. So no, that conversation was surrounding Stokes. So I don't know about Rod. Very well could be, especially if we see them in pictures together. But this one was just highlighting, with an elder community member was highlighting how they felt that Kenny Stokes only jumped back in the game because Holzman sent him. And he was just clear with it. And then, you know, brothers in the community give you their whole background as to why they believe that, and it'll make sense. It'll make, I mean, you'll be listening, you'll be like, well, that's actually facts. You were there for each one. They're telling you what happened when they were there. And you got to listen. And we know in 2026, if you don't believe the mainstream, you have WLBT, you have WAPT, you have Clarion Ledger. Listen, if you're gonna just trust that they're getting everything, every detail, which we've helped you understand they're not. Let's say that nicely. Everyone could do better. We're not journalists. Everyone could do better, right? I know that, but you know what? You got to understand that. I'll take what it is. So that's what he was talking about. But no, getting back to what we were saying, because we went all off to. So we got to look at all the players in the game when it comes to these data centers, and we can let folks call in a minute. So we're just talking about Trey Hairston to the producer's question: how much is getting paid, and what motivation is behind convincing communities to accept these data centers? Who's doing it is an even bigger question, right? But I think that Butler and Snow is who they are calling on. And Trey Hairston is their specialist. I think that gives us a good insight into, here in Jackson at least, what type of money they're spending, you know what I mean, on getting that done. Now, Lashia Brown-Thomas is the next factor. Remember, Brian Rizzo put the moratorium on the table. Trey Hairston helped convince, and we'll not get to that yet. Lashia Brown-Thomas then, and we said we don't know, no one in the community said this to her in numbers, so we don't know who got to her. But all of a sudden she says, you know what, I want to introduce a request to take that moratorium and take it off the table. We don't need that protection. Let the data centers come in. Because that's what it equals. Vernon Hartley backed her up.
Come and get it.
Vernon NDA Hartley backed him up. Come and get it. Kevin Casinos or Data Center Parkinson backed him up. And Ashby, I'm here for it, backed him up. If the state wanted, I want it. So those four are your problem. Kenny No Stokes show was what? A no-show. He was a no-show. That's why he gets the name. Brian Grizzell went against it. He said, hell, I put it on the table. And then Tina Clay actually stood up and has come to be the lone voice standing on city council, fighting with her mouth, her fist, her teeth, her nails, not just blinking to give us a signal. Brian Grizzell will blink at us, and we appreciate that, Brian. Keep blinking. You know, keep blinking. I mean that. He'll get out here. What's that hand sign? He'll give us that. He'll give us that hand sign. It's in trouble, and we appreciate that. And we want it to keep coming, Brian. We're not to,
Originally, that's all
we had, because you put the moratorium on the table. We got to give you credit where it's due. But Tina's swinging like Mayweather.
To piggyback off that, the question you asked earlier, how many days has it been? It has been exactly 29 days since tomorrow will be day 30.
That's why, like rabid dogs at city council, Kenny No Stokes show and crew was saying, let's put it here, let's put it there, let's put it anywhere. That's why all of a sudden Holzman, that's why the community member said Holzman must have called Kenny Stokes and said, get on in there, big boy. It's not looking good for us. That makes sense to me. Now, I see a far-right super talk, they say what makes sense to them. That what makes sense to us. That's what makes sense to me, brother. Just what you said. And we say a far lot things than they say. I love how radio got to be fair to all. It makes sense to me that a scenario in which Holzman, in which that party or that crew reached out to Kenneth Stokes because you came out of nowhere, Kenny, you got to explain yourself. Just like when a young man shoots and does something horrible, they got to explain themselves. A young woman walks out shaking her butt in public and you want an explanation of who raised her and what school she went to and whether or not she went to a doctor. Well, Kenneth Stokes, why are you back in the game all of a sudden talking about data centers? We've been screaming for you for the last. Why are you back in the game talking about data centers? We've been screaming. Your ward's been screaming at you. More people have shown up on your ward than some other wards. And you've been absent. And now you pop back in the game. As the data centers are not looking good for Jackson because we're standing up as a people, as a community. Through every color bracket, we're standing up and saying no. And it doesn't look good for you all now. Gabriel Prado there must have told him, hey, just disappear. We tried to shut him down through We Believe. We couldn't shut him down there, just disappear. And that's what happened. Yet Gabriel Prado fighting. Why would he want so bad for Make It Make Sense Jackson not to speak about data centers before the moratorium was taken off the table? Why would he reach out to a station, a platform we're on, and try to lean on them and say, hey, can you tell them to stop talking about us? And when we said, are you serious? They came back and said, well, can you tell us? He went to Socrates. Can you tell him to just stop for 30 days? I don't tell any lies. That's Prado going to Socrates and saying, can you tell him to just, for 30 days, just be quiet? Now you see why. 3 months later, now you see why. Because Prado, y'all trying to get that data center in like that first date, brother. But this city's like our daughter. We watching. Excuse me, sir, what are you doing? Excuse me, sir. That's what you're gonna name me. That's gonna be my next nickname. Excuse me, sir.
Get your hand.
What are you doing? Get your hand out my pocket the right way. Get your hand out of our pocket, Prado.
Not X.
Yeah, the right way, because we ready. We learn from those that we revere, we love. So we protect ourselves differently. And Brother Malcolm gave us the best advice we could possibly give. He said there's no way you can stop all agents. Just make it hard as hell for them. Because when you're doing hard work, it's hard for somebody to come be lazy on your squad, isn't it? And I'm talking about the people, not us sitting here. When you got a whole group of people doing work and everybody got to come in and dig the same amount of cement, it's hard for you to show up just to take notes on us. Because you're going to be digging that cement with us. Someone asked if they come on our show, I said, you ready to dig cement with us? I sure, you welcome. You ready to dig cement with us? That's why our platform stays so empty, y'all. Only the fighters come on, strong arms. You know, you see Chief Willie Owens, you see people coming on that are fighting out there. Folks don't want to come on here and dig cement with us, and we ain't said a bad thing about nobody. We got a newspaper article to accompany everything we're saying, so why you don't want to come on? Look at as elections heat up. They're going to stay away from us, I assure you that. Why? We're not going to talk about how bad you look. We're going to talk about whether you got on high waters or not. Tell us what you did great. We leave that platform open. You afraid that you won't give us fake money. And then we're going to say, hold on a second, KP, get that little light out.
This nickel wood.
No, sir, this is nickel. What is plantation money, sir? First off, what plantation you still on? How do you know we still in? You trapping us. But that's what's going to happen. Hey, yesterday's price ain't today's price. You let us last through another cycle of elections. And now the people are waking up, and we've never recommended one person or the other. Not for 1 year. And how many months we've been on air? We ain't never said vote for this person. We've never told somebody they can't come on air. We just said, you ready to lift cement?
A year and some months.
Yeah, a year and some months. We just said, you ready to lift some cement? And guess what they say every time? Nah, I'm good. Nah, we good. Then they become the cement. Now we lifted them, and they looking at it, why'd you lift me like that? You could have came over to this side and helped us lift it and told us just go ahead and allocate. You got us all the way talking about, well, we got arrested for felons, and when we was young, we did this and we did that. You got folks coming on like strong arms. We're trying to restore the communities we once helped destroy. Everybody want to take accountability except the black people at the top. Ain't that a shame?
You know, City Council got another meeting about the budget.
They got another meeting about the budget tomorrow. So tomorrow's the 30th day of the moratorium.
Yeah.
All right, y'all. This your child's last day to get their grades in. Watch what they do. Everybody needs to be at that meeting that can be at that meeting. Because your elected officials have left. There is no more security, Jackson. This is state of emergency, and my brothers in California, sisters in California, in Illinois, in Chicago, in Alaska, in Seattle. Jackson is in crisis right now. We've got plantation Democrats leading the city, and they're handing the city away in motion. They fought as best they can to silence us every way possible. The folks we won't even mention, rest in peace, they went through every avenue to stop this message from getting out, but now it's national. Thankfully to my shout out, Brother Jay from Stone Mountain. Brother pushed our message out in Georgia. That's what we need, so communities start saying, hey, man, the same thing happening here, man. Man, we got some plantation Democrats right over here as well. They doing the same thing in Atlanta because we go through and looks the same. Hey, hold on, we over here in Chicago. They doing the same thing, and then we start the right party. Now, the reason we point out what are our folks doing is because voter apathy comes from this is the BS that they've led you to believe from folks that love the vote, push the vote, vote organized. Voter apathy comes from votes not working. Anything apathy comes from that thing not working, right? That's just the way it works, you all. And I'm sorry that you had leaders that trick you and bring science into it and try to give you good names and campaigns, fight for the vote, rock the vote. I've lived through a lot of the smokes and mirrors. Voting apathy comes from it not working. That's the only reason. Your body, apathy in your bones, when you get up and you can't walk after you sat down for 2 years, that apathy is setting because your legs were not being used. And that's what's driven people away from the polls. That's all that's driven people away from the polls. Let's be 1,000% honest. So when your politician comes out around this time, let's hope they got their britches up and they're ready to speak some truth with you. Or you going to put that vote with someone that does speak that truth. See how we do that? You going to put that vote with someone that does speak that truth. If they come out and say the problem is y'all haven't voted, then you know that there's a problem right there. Because right now, for Addison Place, the problem is not that they didn't vote. The problem is that they voted, and those of them that voted, the representation, you vote all the way up to Senate, that representation is not representing. Because if someone says, well, what black faces in high places do you have that can help you, Addison? They're going to say, I got Rod. Well, first I had Mayor Horn, 30-year senator, sat as the chair of the HUD committee and sat on the peer review. He should just be able to make some calls and help us. Find out who these dastardly owners are in New Jersey, right? Because he worked on HUD for that time. No. Who do you have actively in office? Well, we got Rod Hickman. He's the chairman. Is he black? He's black. We've got Sarita Simmons. Is she black? She's a Delta. So the rest of you Deltas, y'all can't be quiet. Don't, hey, listen. Listen, I got a son that play. Listen, I done went through it. I got blocked out. My son boxed me out like Matumbo, boy. When it was time for him to go through his process, boy, I spoke too loud when the window was down one day driving down the street, and I got boxed out like Shaq. I wasn't part of nothing until I saw that boy dancing on campus. I got kicked out of every part of that process. His mama is AK. She got to be a part of it. I got kicked out, right? Because I didn't understand it. But one thing I do understand, if one alpha out there drunk, if one delta out there drunk showing their butt, then the other deltas pull them and say, stop showing your butt. So you deltas, I know y'all, I know, shout out my deltas. Verizon, shout out my deltas. Sarita's a delta. I didn't say she did nothing wrong, but you got to call her and say, hey sis, what's happening in Jackson? My Maryland sisters, my DC sisters, hey sis, what's happening in Jackson? What's that delta sign? Hey, throw it up at her or something, put it up in the sky, like the Batman. Hey sis, well, I hope that's the right side because I'm going to get jumped if it's not. Hey, but you got to call Sarita. You know, whatever fraternity Rod's in, the same way you say if you an alpha, if you a Q, and your boy out there looking silly, remember the Qs, shout out to Qs I used to work with, saying if my boy out there struggling with the women, we ain't gonna let him look stupid. He represent all the Qs, and I'm being funny, but the alphas, this is what you all sell. Oh, I'm gonna hold you all accountable for the bill you sell us. You sell that when our brothers and sisters are doing something wrong. What's John Horn? See if you can Google that. When you say, yeah, what fraternity he's in? When you say, when our brothers and sisters out in a fraternity member just said this to me, if our sister was out there showing their butt drunk like that, we're going to do something. You ain't going to do that 2 or 3 times representing us. I said, what you mean representing you? They their own person. No, they not. They a sister for life. So we hope that all of these folks involved in these black communities that are deltas reach out to Sarita, and then we're going to find out what Rod is. This is a community conversation. We don't need to find out what board you sat on. We need to find out who you represent when you start moving your body. We need to start representing who you're going to step for when it's time to step, because I know how it works.
He is Phi Beta Sigma fraternity.
That is Sigmas. So we got Sigmas, you on deck. Thank God we got this many people listening and watching us. We're going to cut this up. Sigmas on deck. Rod Hickman, just give your brother a call and ask him what's happening in Jacktown. Man, hey, listen, Stratford, I'm giving you the names. You ain't got to do no work. Sigmas, I'm giving it to you. Just call Rod and say Stratford Terrace and Addison Place been without water for 3 months and folks are still being made to pay their bills. What's popping? Y'all got HB 1404 on deck? And y'all ain't said nothing, Rod. What's going on? What about Dupree? Can we see Dupree and Horn? We got to start calling folks out by what the black community holds sacred. That's how we shake this up and get it popping. We no longer dependent on other people to tell us how to work. We know how to work. We've survived under oppression, under enslavement, under Jim Crow, under segregation. We don't need you to tell us how to figure out who's hurting us and who's helping us within our community.
Johnny Dupree is Omega.
Omega. Q. Oh, I know. The Qs I know. The Qs I know don't allow that garbage. And I'm being serious. I'm not making fun of nothing. The Qs I know, shout out Tony Barrett, they don't allow that garbage. So Qs, get at this, brother. I don't care if you 19, you just came out, bro. You a Q. Y'all got to start owning it the same way they own it when they put you through whatever process you go through. Own it when you become one. If you got that on your shoulder, I know. If you got that, if you did, I'm sorry. If whatever it is you got, right? Stand up and call your brother and say, hey, Dupree, Roo, what you doing? What you doing? Put up the sign. I ain't trying to be put up the sign. What you doing, Dupree? Black people in Jackson, Mississippi have not had water for almost a month. And the owners are sitting in New Jersey and New York chilling. And what about Horn? We're putting everybody on deck today. What's Horn's fraternity? Let's pick that up for me real quick. Let's wrap this bow up. Wrap this up with a bow. Let's see. And this is what black faces in high places. They all Sigma. So you all got this. So you all are from black organizations. This is what black faces in high places looks like in Jackson, Mississippi. 30 days going on with no water. And you're paying your water as part of your utilities. So if you wasn't evicted, you paid your bill.
Did you ask Rod Hickman?
I thought you said he was a Sigma. No. Go back to Rod.
John Horn is a Sigma.
John's a Sigma. Sigmas, y'all got to hold tight because y'all on a bigger deck. Y'all off deck. We're going to talk to y'all in a minute because y'all got a bigger task.
Dupree is Q-Dog, Omega.
Okay, so Dupree is Q-Dog Omega, and Hickman was a Sigma.
No, Hickman is a alpha.
Hickman is, oh, thank you for slowing it down. That's me pushing you, young man. I appreciate you. Alphas. I say it softly, but alphas.
Rod Hickman.
That gold and black. It must be cold in here, Rod. It's cold for the people that ain't got no water, Rod. How that brr? It must be dry in there. Can we get some water in the atmosphere? I say brr. Hey, you all going on deck, man. Y'all not gonna let these people hurt in an all-black city with this much black representation and don't jump on deck with us. We ain't talking about you, your mama, your auntie. Come help. So we got alphas on deck. We got sigmas on deck, and we got Qs on deck, and we got deltas on deck. We got Serena, we got Rod Hickman, we got Johnny Dupree. Y'all need to call them. This ain't about them three no more. It's a brotherhood. It's sisterhoods. It's on alphas, not Rod. Alphas, what's popping? Tell us he tells you, kick him out. All right, we good with that. Kick him out. There's got to be a problem. If you don't want to help, kick him out. And Rod, I'm not saying you should be kicked out or you don't want to help, brother. I'm just giving a long-term plan right here. Kick him out if you don't want to help. And what's John?
One more time, he's a Sigma.
Now, Sigmas, let's get back to you, my brothers.
Ooh, boy.
Now, the rest of them, I asked them to make a call and ask their brothers and sisters what was happening. We're going to slow walk it to make sure I'm right. We asked the alphas to reach out to Rod Hickman. We asked the deltas to reach out to Sarita Simmons. And we asked the Q dogs to reach out to Johnny Dupree. But now we just asked y'all to reach out to them and just ask them what's happening at Addison Place and at Stratford Terrace. Why don't those people have water? They've been paying their bill, right? Why they not 1404 not being used? Now, Sigmas, you got to kick them out. You got to kick them out. You got to go. I'm not. You got to go. Sigma, other groups tell me stuff about y'all, and I defend y'all a lot of times, but they're all even, because I don't know. But this may be the straw that breaks the camel back in 2026 in the United States. If Eric Adams is part of your fraternity and you was a, he might break your back with the foolery he's done. Sigmas, John might break it. He got to go. Save yourselves. Because he's John Sigma Horn right now. Because we need everyone around him. That to tell me, if somebody's in the community and that son is out there beating up someone in your family, you won't call his mother and his aunts, everybody to get him up off them? That's your son getting beat up? Hey, Aunt Jane, Uncle Pete, come get your nephew off my child. My people are worth more than your comfort. To everybody I'm speaking to, please understand it again. Our people are worth more than your comfort. Whether it's alphas, sigmas, whether it's me, Muslims, Christians, Jews, whether it's deltas, AKAs, our people are worth more than your comfort. And the young people scream, high faces in black places have not equaled progress. Why? Well, we're going to talk about it real time. We've got 2 apartment complexes that's going on 30 days with no water, and them high faces, high black faces in high places have not said anything yet. Could be a reason. Family members could be sick. It could be something. 1 could be, 2 could be, not all 3. But Sigmas, you got to kick him out. He's got to go. What I mean, he's got to go. And I don't understand what I'm saying this off. I mean, I don't understand what I'm saying this off here. You get kicked out of a gang for certain things. This is Sigma. You got to have a higher bar than a street gang. And in a street gang, you assault an old lady. When you used to come up in Chicago and anywhere else, you do something really bad. I know people that you beat your old lady, they would jump all over you when I was growing up. Sigmas, your bar got to be a little higher. Brotherhood, scholarship, service. This is Phi Beta Sigma's foundation and principles. Culture, I'm talking about John Horn, not you all. But culture for service and service for humanity. That's what the royal blue and pure white represent. Oh, boy. You sure he's a Sigma, right? Don't get me jumped.
Oh, he's a Sigma.
Yeah, it was founded on January 9th, 1914 at Howard University by A. Langston Taylor, Leonard F. Morse, and Charles I. Brown. Listen, their motto is culture for service and service for humanity. He got to go. Get him out of there, like Martin used to say. And we can move forward or apply enough pressure that your brother stops doing Jackson like this. And Sigma's not Jackson. Sigma's not Mississippi. Sigma's everywhere. Give your boy a call. Call him and ask him what's happening.
The caller yesterday said, man, he gonna talk to that father. You know, it messed us up because he was like,
yeah.
Oh, you know, and what's his father's name?
Charles Horn.
You know, Charles Horn. He's sick. You know,
he's going through sickness. So
we feel like he's sick. You gotta go.
Yeah. And then which saddens us because with respect, we've always asked, how does somebody with those shoes get followed by somebody by what John's doing, right? Pure respect. And as he goes through an illness, we wish him nothing but the best. And all we wonder is John, are you doing this because the band that held that legend is no longer able to stop you. No longer able to interact with you, no longer able, and I know my grandfather unfortunately started getting up there in age, he's a great man, and he started to lose his senses.
Speedy recovery for you, Mr.
Yeah, and hopefully it's speedy, and family members need to jump in and stand in for where he's not. And as we move on, as we start to close, because we want to touch on one or two other things, other people need to jump in and help, family members of the Horns. You all need to jump in and give him a call. And I watched this happen right in this city. When there's a young person that's killed somebody or that's done something horrendous and they're on the run, I watched the family members in the community go and get that person to turn themselves in so more violence doesn't ensue.
Right.
Because now the people are looking for retaliation. This is what I watched happen by these people that you all punch down on a regular basis. So we need anyone from the Horn family or circle that called him so great to just reach out and ask us what's wrong with him. Lead paint, and I'm being serious. Don't think I'm being funny. Because I grew up in an era of lead paint. Some of my friends got Ritalin too early.
Whether it make sense, call you on there.
Yes, sir. John Horn is an Omega.
Man, see, we had to be careful. I apologize, Sigmas. That's different. I apologize to the Sigmas.
Yeah, he's an Omega.
That's what Google said. He's a singer.
All right, take care.
Yes, sir. Hey, brother, one question. Are you Omega too? Just to be sure we get it from. Oh, he got off that line. Oh, he got it on. Let's take it quickly. We got 30 seconds.
Whether it make sense, call you on there.
Hey, look, I'm gonna make this real swift.
He's an Omega.
I understand this individual just called in talking about John Horn, member of Omega Side 5. All right, so let me help you out. Johnny Dupree, you're absolutely correct. Ryan Hickman, you're absolutely correct.
Okay, hold on. And we said John Dupree was a Q. We're absolutely correct. Rod Hickman is an Alpha. We're absolutely correct.
Our mayor, John Horn, is a member of Phi Beta Sigma. He is not a member of Omega Side 5. So that's why all who just called in, you might want to get your facts right before you go talking about John Horn as a member of Omega Side 5. And I'm gonna hang up with John.
Hey, this is community right here. Yeah. So hold on. What did
I'm real confused.
He said Horn is a member of what? Omega, right?
That's what the
But he's really a singer.
But he's really okay. Well, listen. We got to get this together. We'll post it. We'll get to we already know Deltas, you know your task. Okay, but this is the big one. Qs, you know your task. We hope you reach out. Hold on, but Rod, Alphas, you know your task. Rod, with the Alphas. And listen, we're not being funny here. Please understand, I believe this gets more done than us walking with signs, walking in front of Rod's house and saying, can you please help them? I believe we go through the circles that were created by our community and our ancestors to sustain when the pressure was too strong that we could not join mainstream. This is how we survived. So please understand, I'm asking you this directly. Deltas, I'm not being funny. Sarita Simmons is in a state where she is on the housing committee, and black folks at both of these apartment complexes, Addison and Stratford, have been out of water for 30 days, and the utilities are included. Same thing with Johnny Dupree, Q-Dogs. We're asking you to reach out and text him and ask him what's going on. At least let him tell you, but those young men don't understand what's happening. We've been trying. It just hasn't been public, right? Rod Hickman, Alphas. We need you to text him and ask him what's happening. This is going to split that divide. This is going to show you the real Alphas that actually believe in the foundation, and I can say that. It's going to show you the Qs that believe in the foundation. It's going to show you the Omegas that believe in the foundation. It's going to show you the Deltas that believe in the foundation. It's going to show you the AKs that believe in the foundation, and those that want to look pretty, dress pretty, and brothers that want to go out and take their shirt off. There's two different kinds in everything. In every gang, there's wannabes and there's real ones. In every fraternity, there's ones that just love emotion, and there's ones that really believe in the foundation. Because I come from one of them. So you got to understand that we about to split this divide everywhere. This don't just go for Jackson. And we sick of just these young people and the people at the bottom getting punched on. And all these people that are supposed to be black faces in high places continue to do nothing while they live off of foundations like manhood, scholarship, perseverance, uplift. Stop saying words that are hollow. It is hollow as Mayor Horn saying he was going to hold landlords accountable. Now 2 apartments have been going on a month without water, and their utilities included. Let them know if they can give us 30 seconds, they got it.
I'm going to make my son call you on there.
You got 30 seconds, caller. We're almost there.
Hey, I'll make it easy for you.
Okay.
As members of John Horn's fraternity, will y'all please contact y'all?
There you go. There you go. That's the most responsible way to say it.
And if anybody who want to claim John Horn as a fraternity member, please call WMPR and claim y'all frat brother.
I think
because
they
I
went.
tell you what he does not belong to. I say it again.
Say it again.
He does not belong to Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And y'all have a good day.
Speak it, brother. Speak it. And that's pride. That's pride right there,
Let's
y'all.
see who's gonna claim it.
Let's see who's going to claim him. Let's see who's gonna claim the baby. Cause this baby in here destructing this house. He destroyed this house. So who gonna claim the baby? Who is John with? Who he with? You know, I don't care. This is about our show is for everybody. Who bought him? You from the mafia? Is he a friend or is he family? However you want to say it. Who's he with? We need to find out. Because you notice no Deltas called and said, Sarita ain't ours. So they're going to call her. We appreciate you, Deltas. We take that silence to mean you're going to reach out. No Alphas have called in and said, no, Rod's not ours. We appreciate you, Alphas. Go and reach out to him. We didn't hear one Q reach out, and the Q's reached out, but not to say that what's his name is not theirs. The Q's reached out to say, listen, John's not ours. That's what they didn't reach out to say Johnny Dupree. They reached out to say John's not ours. Let's be clear. The young man's trying to Google. They already got to Google. He's not ours. He's not ours. Got that out of there, time. Even Google ain't got nobody claiming him. They confused. We're being funny. We're gonna land this plane, y'all. This has been an amazing show, and I think we've hit on some real things, so we don't want to bring too much comedy to something that's real. This is what the 2026 voting landscape should look like. This is what it should look like when you put on a beautiful hat. My grandmother used to wear the best of them, and you show up to your function, for your fraternity, for your sorority. This is what it should look like. Stop just liking that post when there's 50 black men looking good with a fraternity. Why are you liking it yet? So as your plumber, can I come do some plumbing work for you? If all I got to do is stand there with the plumbing stuff on and smile at you. That's all I got to do if you like my job? Can I come be your plumber? Can I be your heart surgeon? All I got to do is put on a doctoscope, put on a stethoscope, and smile at you? Stop liking until you see what they're doing. I'm sorry, I love my fraternities, but we got to hold everyone accountable. That's how we're going to move forward. You keep asking what the Republicans, what are they going to give us? What are they going to give us? Nothing. I think they've proven that. If you want a friend, get a dog. That's what Tate told you. Stop looking for the Republicans to give you something. Stop looking for the Democrats if you're not going to hold them accountable. So the work going to come from within. My granddaddy made it clear the work always came from within. Alpha, stand up. Stop talking about when you was formed if you're not going to fight for what happened when you was formed. Don't talk about 1906 and don't talk about what's happened in 1906 or what you're doing now. And I know alphas that do a lot, so we need everyone. That's your Rod. What are you doing? You can't be doing the least. You got to do the most if you're an alpha, Rod. If you're a Q, you got to be doing the most, Dupree. Sarita, Delta's fighting. You got to be doing the most, Sarita. Y'all can't just go to these ceremonies where these black girls get in front of you and put these African colors on them and put these beautiful sachets on them and tell them how they're the essence. And no, you got to be the essence. Talking about where we looking for. You got to be the essence because that's what you're here for. God, we sick of playing our role and can't nobody else play their role. What you here for? Stop leaning on the blood. You all are disgusting. Some of you. You cloak yourself in bloody clothes from our ancestors and stand with your back straight, elevated. And you accept awards. And you do nothing. Not even the shadow of what your ancestors did. Why were black sororities and fraternities created? Some of you all are disgusting. Because you wouldn't be able to tell when we see you in your Rolls Royce. We have no clue about why they were created. Now, if you're not a walking representation of what you're there for, then what you're there for. It's time everyone that's in our community either stop saying this what you do or do what you say you do. We sick of slogans. And John Horn, whenever we figure out who he is, and I'm not going to yell out anyone's names, I don't want to hurt any feelings, and we are truly confused, he got to go. He got to go. Kick him out. Give him probation. If you can do better and show us that you have cut loose from at least 1 to 2 white supremacist collaborations, and we can show you what's white supremacist about them when you try to take away the voted and elected judges of a black community. We can show you how that's a white supremacist approach. We don't just talk here. This plantation democracy's got to stop because it's dragging Jackson down and it's threatening to drag the whole United States down. Because as Mississippi goes, black America goes. If you haven't realized that yet, America, you slip it, not us.
Might be up there with Terry. You know, Terry was a Kappa.
Yeah. Tate was a Kappa?
Terry was a Kappa Alpha.
I don't even know what to say. Y'all took him in the first place. Y'all do what y'all want, Kappa. That's not my business. That's none of my business, Kappa. It ain't the same thing. It's the same thing. It ain't none of my business what y'all do. Because you ain't never stood on the blood of the kid. And I just be honest, not on that way, Kappa. Y'all never stood on the right side of the blood of my ancestors. But the rest of these folks, black colleges is where it comes from. So, what we get from this as we land this plane, folks, is everybody reach out and touch your neighbor, as pastors like to say. Reach out and touch your neighbors. We holding everyone accountable. Pastors saying that black women just want to shake their booty, that's why they're mad at their kids, and don't talk about one bit of the frustration they face in a society where 15 out of every 1,000 babies are dying. Maybe they lost a baby. Maybe they're 15 out of that 1,000. You ever think about that? where black maternity and black health is at its lowest that it's ever been, and there's never been nowhere to start with in Mississippi. The Mississippi hysterectomy is back in different forms, and a past RD says right here in Mississippi, in Jackson, well, the reason they so mad is because they just want to shake their booty. And our mayor blows hot air out of his mouth by saying, I created a housing task force, I'm going to make sure landlords come doing that, and then holds no one accountable. And now, over 60 families are without water, they've been paying their water and their utilities, and no one's doing nothing. So fraternity, sorority, do your thing. We'll be back next week, same time, same place. Keep following us on Facebook for my co-host. Myself, Tarek Abdul-Twab. Shout out Mr. Wilson for our producer. Continue to make it make sense, Jackson. We love you, and we out. I love it, man.
Yep.
Yeah, that's the, yeah.